He said, I made a lot of money.
All right.
It is 10 a.m. Wednesday, August the 12th, 2026. I'll make a motion that the special meeting of the Navarro County Commissioners Court come to order.
Second.
Have a motion from Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Perry. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are now in session. Commissioner Brewer, if you please give us the opening prayer.
Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all the blessings of life. We just pray that you'll be with us this morning, give us wisdom and knowledge as we make decisions concerning the budget, regarding our employees and regarding everyone in the county, that we'll do the right thing. We'll do the best that we can for all concerned. Well, we ask you now again to bless us and forgive us where we fail you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
All right. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
All right. All right, do we have anyone here for public comments? All right, moving on to budget workshop. First item we have
Indigent health, yeah.
indigent health, Ms.
Yes, sir.
Brianna Kaufman.
And we got a full day today, so
Okay.
ate your Wheaties this morning. The first one we're doing is indigent health. Brianna is here. She's the head of the department. This one's going to kind of overlap. We have the Kim Rogers Clinic coming in this afternoon, I think 1:30. But this is Colby, I know you're new here, but everybody knows this is an interesting department. It's changed over the years. We in FY26, this department, actually in FY25, this department was housed at the Kent Roger Clinic.
Right.
And Judge, in FY26, we pulled them out of being housed in the Kent Roger Clinic. Currently, they're being still housed in the annex building next to the elections offices. We have acquired a building in FY26 and it's being refurbished where they will be moving, and it's kind of catty corner from the Kent Rogers Clinic-ish. So I say all that to say, just to put it in perspective of, this is a department within the county that we run indigent health out of. It has its own office. It has Brianna as its leader. She has an employee that works underneath her. Just so we set that stage, we don't outsource indigent health anymore to the hospital like we did in Columbus, settled the ocean. This is our department and we run it that way. Brianna has the ability in her medical decision, or in her decision as a health department, to send people wherever they want to go. We have contracts with different physicians that bill the county when care is being administered. Just so we set the fact, there's no thou shall go here or thou shall go
So
there.
we're not picking winners and losers.
Yes, sir. That's correct. And so, did I say everything correctly?
Yeah, you did.
On
You
there? Okay. So, we're going to start with there's, I'll let Brianna jump in here and do it, but in essence, there's kind of a salary change here, for, in essence, calling Brianna the indigent director. I think in the past it's been labeled, assistant or coordinator or something to that nature. So, but I'll let you guys go ahead and take it from here on
Yes.
what your thoughts
All
are.
right.
Hey, can I give him a little background?
Please.
Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Years ago, we gave the hospital $300,000 a year for a while. And they took care of everything. That was all in healthcare, their payment, everything. We gave it to them. That was the end of it. We never thought about it again. When the hospital, they changed hands and people come and go, and when they decided they didn't want to do energy anymore, which has only been what,
It was 23.
yeah, a few years ago. We were kind of not given all the information, and for the most part, we kind of had it in our head that we had to give it to somebody else and let them take the whole thing over again, which is kind of what we did with the Kent Rogers Clinic. And then as we got to looking into it more, because the costs kept going up, we found out that it didn't necessarily have to be just them. They could go anywhere they wanted to. So we just started doing what was required of us to do by state law, which we do, and we've been doing. But there's entities that want us to go above and beyond what we're required to do by state law. And so that's where we are now.
Okay.
Sorry.
Uh, So with the hospital getting out, I mean, is the hospital opposed to having any involvement in our indigent health?
They do take
Currently?
care of our patients.
Okay.
So it is asked that if they need emergency outpatient services that can't be done at a clinic, that our patients go and receive that care here first. Just because a lot of out-of-county hospitals don't normally accept our patients because they have their own indigent healthcare program and county funding that they utilize for their county residents versus out of county. And then there's a hospital overseas REAP, which is Regional Employee Assistance Program, which is all of these specialty care providers that are in Navarro County, along with primary care that have been recently added. They also they're all contract based together.
Okay.
So they do still take care of our patients.
Okay.
So
So
I'd like to make an addendum to
Yeah.
what Jason said. This money that we sent to the hospital didn't actually go to the hospital. It went to Austin. And it was multiplied. It was multiplied.
So it's a
and then-
matching
And
system.
so it didn't go directly to the hospital. And so that's the difference between today and yesterday.
So was that a state program?
Yes.
And so that program is no longer around. So it's more so that program going away than the hospital.
I think it was a combination of both.
Okay.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
wasn't around, but I think the hospital was done being the administrator of indigent care. They'd like to see the patients, we get billed a certain rate, admission rate to see it for code, but they were done with making the call whether the person was indigent or not and doing all the stuff that now Brianna.
Well, there were two county employees that managed that program that went to the hospital when the program went to them.
Yes, sir.
And eventually they retired.
One died and one retired.
Yeah.
And then there was some new employees, and then there was some, maybe some stuff that was being done there that didn't necessarily fall under indigent care. Some of that kind of stuff was going on as well.
So it was a mutual agreement between the CEO of the hospital and the commissioners.
Okay.
To take them out of the loop, so to speak, on that and go back with our own indigent care.
So now we're covering administration.
Yes.
Yes.
A to Z.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whereas that's the major change.
Yeah.
Right? Other than how we distribute the money.
So for clarification,
Mhm.
yesterday at our commissioners court meeting, we approved some MOUs with some of the vendors that you use.
Pending, but
We tabled
Yeah.
it.
yeah,
Yeah, we tabled that.
yes.
So when you said a while ago, we contract, does it have to be a contract with the providers?
It
Or
does
does
not.
the MOU just work?
It just depends on the facility. So it just depends on their preference. A lot of them, if they're corporate based, they would like to have something in writing on their aspect of that to, they understand that this is how things are done with our indigent healthcare program, because some programs are different. But not all of them do. I can simply pick up the phone and, for instance, Charles Donahoe, when I was looking for
Yeah.
additional primary care providers, it was a mutual agreement over the phone. He understood how we reimburse, things in that nature, and it was just an agreement up front. But the one that is pending is with Baylor, because we don't have all the specialty care here.
Right.
And so I have to go look for those out of county. And unfortunately with Baylor, they're corporate, they need something in writing. And then the additional one that was supposed to be presented on Monday is a new private practice of pulmonology. He didn't necessarily need it, but he's new to the game. So it was better for him to have something in writing to understand what indigent healthcare is. This is all new to him.
I was mainly asking just, if it was a requirement for the state, it had to be a contract.
It's not a
or,
requirement, no.
Good deal.
I've asked several other indigent programs, it's not a requirement, but some prefer to have one and some don't.
It's good business.
Yeah,
Yeah, where money's being exchanged, I think there ought to be.
yeah, there'll be some good paperwork there.
Versus a verbal agreement.
So maybe you want to explain kind of how you're, I'll say restructuring, but looking at your departments,
Mhm.
some of the third slide, gentlemen, just deal.
So over to your left, obviously, that is the salary that has been on there, I believe, since 24, which that's when I took over the department, the end of June of 24, 1st of July of 24. That salary, is not adequate to what I'm bringing in. From my understanding, that was to include myself and potentially another assistant. But up until I went on maternity leave of July 25, let me back that up. Late May, early June of 25, I was running the program by myself. It was me and me only. So with that, and talking with other surrounding counties that are very similar with our department. What I am requesting for myself is the going rate with similar departments that have 2 employees that are directors over their program. Job descriptions are primarily the same. And then again, I am requesting, as far as Julietta, she is bilingual. She is a great assistant for our department. Out of the 60, I think we currently have 62 on our program, at least 30 of those are Spanish speaking. So it does make it very difficult to make sure that they understand what our program is, what it covers and what it doesn't cover when I'm doing the best that I can. So she has been a great help with that also.
What other counties did you go to?
Ellis County, since they are surrounding, they are a 2-man show also. Their program is slightly different, and the reason I say that is they maintain jail and healthcare, but the legwork that they do for jail is the same legwork that we do for healthcare. They don't do the legwork that they do for healthcare because they do what we did in the past is they cut that big check from the intergovernmental funds, and they send it directly to the Hope Center in Waxahachie, and that's what they give them, and that's what they use for their patients.
Is that the only county you checked with?
I checked with, I'm on the Texas Indigent Healthcare Association board, so there's some others on there, Henderson County, Limestone County. There's some other ones on there. I don't remember off the top of my head, but a lot of them are all different. Some have 7 people that work their department, some have 5. Some are hospital districts, so that's nowhere near in comparison to what we do here. But Ellis County is the one that we are very similar.
We can kind of keep going through it and then we'll have questions to come back with.
Yeah,
Obviously the next slide is just the overall change in the budget from FY 26 to FY 27. There's a slide at the back that will kind of show you where we are today through middle of August. It's kind of impressive, relevant for our afternoon conversation too. But this kind of just throws out the significant changes, if there are any changes. You may want to explain, talk about the software cost. That's another big bump.
Yeah, so there is a new software that I'm requesting, if approved, to have with our program. It's called CareSoft. This is a program that I will be able to use a patient, potential applicant's social security number, put it into the system, and it will be able to determine if they're currently working, if they had any prior work history, if they already have medical benefits, and some other things that it already shows. Right now, when we are determining eligibility, all we can go off is based on what's being provided in front of us on an application, and it's not always accurate information. We have no way to look into that to see if it's legitimate, truthful information. So I reached out to some other indigent healthcare programs, and one over in Don't know the county, but it's over past San Antonio. They've actually contracted with CareSoft, and it has been a huge help because not only does it verify work history, it now has the benefit aspect of it. So do they have health insurance? Do they have dental insurance? Do they have vision insurance? It has all these other things that are now tied to it, and it goes back as far as 3 years.
Mhm.
Because when we are determining eligibility for a patient on the application, it requests if they have any prior medical bills that need to be taken care of. Now, our program, we can only go back 3 months, but those 3 months, they could have had a little side job, doing something, but they might not provide that information to us. So it does help make sure that we are determining eligibility for the appropriate people that do need the assistance.
Man, that sounds incredibly important.
Yeah.
If you're only having to rely on the person who's asking for benefits for your sole source of information, that seems to be incredibly problematic.
People wouldn't lie about that, but
I don't know.
Is that an annual software cost, the 30 grand, or is it a one-time?
No, so the 30 grand includes our current software, which is IHS Indigent Health Solutions. That is $19.73 a month, so $1,973 a month for that program. That is the system that we use that determines our eligibility, saves the patient's information, processes bills, our monthly reports that we send to the state. It's everything that we need to be able to run our program. The additional 10, and the reason I only put an additional 10 on there is because there is no annual rate for this CareSoft software. It is billed per patient that we put into the system. So there is no set standard on an annual cost.
Sorry, you had said the first software that does determine eligibility, but then you said this one also determines, I guess is it doing a little bit different because it's looking at whether it truly did they have any claims or jobs, or so it's going further
Yes.
than the current software?
Yes. So the IHS is what we use currently and have been, and I think it's been in the system. I think even when Brenda ran the program back in 2010 is what we use to run indigent healthcare. And then the CareSoft is going to be able to determine their work history, things in that nature.
Is that software fairly accurate? I mean, as far as the data is pulling, is it best available data as you understand?
Yes, from my understanding, CareSoft, and it has another name, it's Equifax/CareSoft. They are one of the providers that is used for other federal agencies, state agencies, things in that nature. So basically the payroll system that people use, it's tied in to this system. So it pulls all the information in,
Okay.
from my understanding. But it's a set rate per client that we choose to put into the system. Now, I don't plan on putting everybody into the system.
Mhm.
But if we do get this approved, then my goal would to be when we get an application in and we're hesitant on if the information is truthful, then I could put their social security number in and determine whether, if they have been working in the past, just because it is based off per client.
So what are they charging you per client? Do you know? Ballpark?
I thought I sent it. Let me see.
I mean, it could be a potential issue if you're picking and choosing who goes through
Let's
the
see. I have it right here.
background check, so to speak.
So there are annual setup fees. So for instance, if I request a report on a patient and it pulls 3 months of information, it's $60.
Mhm.
But if I put that social security number in and it inquires that the patient had more than 3 months of work history, then it goes based off if it's 6 months, a year, or 3 years, and then it goes up from there. So I don't have the choice going in to select that on this social security number, I only want 3 months worth of data, or I only want 1 year's worth of data. It's going to pull it regardless.
Mhm.
So I don't know that going in, but it can range from the $59.95 to $40 to $60 per
Okay.
patient. Now, I would have liked to go back and run a report on everybody that's on there right now.
Mhm.
But I also want to make sure I'm utilizing that line item for software appropriately.
Right.
But that would be I would love to do that because we're doing the best we can with just the paper application in front of us.
I guess back to just how the general setup works for indigent health in the county. Are you the first stop?
Yes.
So your office is primarily tasked with doing the eligibility requirements.
Yes, we do all that in-house.
Yeah, they can't go anywhere they want and claim indigent and send us a
Right.
bill. It has to go through her office.
Okay. But post you claiming them to be eligible,
Mhm.
and then you send them to Care One, does your job responsibility stop, or do you see them through the program in order for us to make sure we don't, I think it's a 30-day or 30,000, whatever the state
No,
law,
we-
sorry to miss the quote
No,
there,
no.
but something in that range, like,
No.
how do you get involved, I guess? In the payment
Yes,
part of
no, they are with us until they're off the program. They can fall off the program for different reasons. One, maxing out on their benefits. So each indigent client has up to $30,000 in medical expenses per fiscal year. So if they max out right now, they're eligible to get back on when the new fiscal year starts. So that's one way. Another way is we have implemented mandatory monthly letters to make sure that they are keeping us up to date on new things, whether they found out that have a hearing date for Social Security. They started working, they've moved out of county, things of that nature. So that is a letter that they get monthly. They have a due date to turn that in by. If they don't submit that, then there's a suspension period for not inquiring with the mandated policy. Or they become over income, they start working, they become over income, or they start getting other federal benefits, including Medicaid. That is automatic denials. If they have Medicaid, they cannot have our program. And if they are determined eligible, they are approved for 6 months. If their situation is the same, once they are determined approved, we send them a renewal packet before their 6 months comes up. They're eligible to renew again, and then we do the whole application determination all over again.
And if I remember right, this money doesn't necessarily have to be spent, it just has to be available.
Okay.
You just have to have it there in case.
And it's a percentage of the budget.
Right.
to a max, right? This just, I know we're running up on the time, but this is just kind of where your burn rate is so far on the last slide. And I'll skip the slide before the summary slide. The last slide, this is kind of where your burning is to date. Looking forward and seeing where we would expect to be. Do you see anything crazy in here? Like, I guess, what's the story given knowing that we have some folks coming in this afternoon to talk about other things, but if you could ad lib or communicate a little bit on why, I think you had a decrease in x-rays or something like that up here, right?
Yes.
Or you had an increase in x-rays, but a decrease, decrease in x-rays and decrease in hospitalizations.
Yes, so I requested that laboratory and x-ray to have its own line item, just because they are billed separately. And let's see, what else? We did have an increase in inpatient just because we had several people, that were admitted to the hospital for weeks at a time. So that can cause a significant increase in funding there. My hope is to decrease on prescriptions. I think $55,000 is absolutely crazy for prescription. So I'm hoping to get that down. And then what else is on there?
I think that was kind of the big ones, I guess, if I go back and look at your budget changes.
Yeah. I did request an increase on the physician non-emergency services. I have been in contact with Envision Eye Care. They are willing to accept our patients for vision services. I wanted to also add dental services. Vision and dental have been a huge request when the patients are coming in. Unfortunately, I've not found a dental office here in Corsicana that's willing to take our patients. But I did reach out to Envision. I met with them a little over 2 months ago. And they actually notified me that years past, they did take the indigent patients. They didn't know what happened. They don't know why they weren't coming in anymore. So they are willing to take our patients. But the way that things are billed in our IHS system, their claims for the vision benefits would fall under the physician non-emergency. So that is why I added that additional increase in that.
Is the dental and vision required by the state?
It's not. It's considered optional. And then what else is on there? Oh, and then anesthesia, that's hit or miss. There was a few claims that came in throughout the year where the patients received anesthesia due to a surgery that they needed to hopefully get back on their feet, get to working again. And so I've requested that to have its own line item. But I think the total claims right now for the anesthesia that we've received is, I think it was a little over 3,000. So that was just kind of cushioning it in case we did get some, because we never know. I mean, everybody's situation is different.
To add on to maybe Jason's question there, are there anything else in the budget that you think that we currently pay for above and beyond what's required by law?
Yep.
I think that question's okay. So the only thing you're asking for in the 27 budget that's above and beyond is dental and vision.
Yes.
Specifically for somebody that is already in the indigent health care program.
Correct, yes. Vision would just be a routine service. Now, some that have medical conditions, that it's more medical, not more vision, they do and can be referred to Dr. Gawley at REAP for those services. I think more so like glaucoma related, things in that nature that needs more of
Specialized.
yes. But this vision that I'm requesting to be added is more just like a routine follow-up, get them a simple pair of lenses that is needed so they're able to see. Dental, I was going to be very strict on that. We're not going to be paying for all our teeth to be removed and get implants. No, it was just going to be a simple cleaning, things in that nature. But again, I haven't found a dental office in town that's willing to accept our patients.
And how much were you, estimating the eye and the dental to cost?
Well, I only included the additional 15 on non-emergent for vision, just because I haven't got an answer for dental. I wanted to have that prior to all of this, but I've had no success with that. So it would be strictly for vision.
So how much you said it was again?
15,
Right here, yeah.
15,000.
15?
Yes, sir.
Did we have her in here when Kent Rogers come in? In case they have questions.
I can wait outside.
I think being close would be good. I think to settle. And he said, she said, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. But I think to get to the bottom of, for us to all make a decision, for you guys to make a decision to make this stop lingering for the county, what we recommended, it's y'all's choice. If not, it's just gonna keep going.
Everybody write them all.
Yes, sir.
Maybe not in
This afternoon? Yeah.
Anything else before we move to the Justice of the peace.
Y'all good, gentlemen?
Any other questions at the moment?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Caldwell.
Mariana.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, we have the Justice of the Peace. Ever y'all want to present?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, good man.
You all good?
Judge Freeland, how are y'all?
Looks like there's gonna be a call bell coming.
Well, I might, you never know. We let granddad do the talking.
Good deal.
Please don't. Let Greta talk.
I would rather it's rather time. Guys, I'm on call, so if I have to leave,
No problem.
I apologize.
Thank you all for being here.
Yes.
You're the tag, you're it.
This week, yes, yes. We call it the 168-hour week.
You know, I want to institute a program like that for the commissioners, you know, so that each of us will take a week to get the trees down and all that kind of stuff.
Y'all don't want that.
No.
All the trees are on me. Y'all want that.
No, I had one just a while ago.
People with the row crop land, I guess, are in the best shape on that.
Yes.
Mr. Adams, I'm Judge Waddle.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you want to lead or if you.
What I've been doing, is just kind of setting the stage and then letting you guys go from how you guys want to do it. I've given them a summary of your budgets that you sent over. Typically in the past, it's been in a binder like yay big.
Right.
And it's hard to kind of follow. So really, I've just kind of summarized what's been going on so they can kind of see it in a more summary, and it's not 3-4 different tabs, so they can kind of see it on one tab, because most of y'all's budgets are pretty much identical. I just kind of wanted to make sure they were able to see it in one, but please feel free to go forward. This is just, everything you're going to say is on these slides. I mean, on this stuff. So I don't want to be talking. It's all your show.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good morning, gentlemen. We appreciate you letting us come in and speak with you today. I had a couple of things I wanted to talk about this morning. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I'll try to hit the high points and let y'all go on with your business. The reason we've asked for what we've asked for this year is we have had an increase in cases filed in our 4 offices. Those cases right now, I think Greta has a graph that I don't know if Mr. Adams has it or not, but Greta has a graph to show that the cases those two on the graph.
Well, they changed the amount for county court to JP court, which threw more on y'all's plate.
We did catch some of that too. The first thing I wanted to kind of show y'all is Greta's got a handout. It'll show you the graph. These are total cases filed in our office. We did not go back as far as Mr. Adams did, but we wanted to compare October of 24 to September of 2025. We had 7,725 cases filed in all 4 JP offices. And just to give you an example, this year, the uptick, October 2025 through July the 31st, we've already had 9,182 cases filed, with 2 months remaining on the calendar year. One of the reasons we're having the uptick in cases, obviously we're coming out of COVID. A lot of people got into credit card debt and such as that. So we've had a lot more civil cases filed on debt claims, credit cards, et cetera, like that. The thing I wanted to explain to y'all is once we get a debt claim case and we hear it in court, we issue a judgment. And once that judgment is issued, the legislature has changed up. They've enabled the debt collectors another way of collecting debt. It's been for several years now, but there's been a big uptick in receiverships. And so once you get a civil judgment, then most of these debt collectors are filing receiverships, which come through our office, have to be processed. And I would say the 9,182 cases that are filed with 2 months remaining this year, they don't count the receiverships. Okay. So of the 9,182 cases that are debt claims or part of them are debt claims, 50 to 60+% of those cases will now get a receivership file, which is not going to show on the graph. Of those receiverships, they're usually good for 180 days. They allow the debt collector to attempt to collect the debt. And once that's done, we're now seeing an uptick in renewing receiverships after the 180 days or extending the receiverships up to 4 or 5 years. So what that means, if you don't understand, is that once that civil judgment is issued by one of our judges, we get the receivership. We may be stuck with that case, dealing with that same case for 4 or 5 years. I'll give you an example, and it's an extreme example, but I know Judge Cabano, his clerk, has got one civil judgment, and she's got 12 tabs in there. So there have actually been 12 orders filed with that case since the judgment was issued.
JJ's cool.
I'm sorry, JJ. And that's an extreme example, but we're looking at actually, you could almost at least times 3 of these cases with the receiverships that are filed. So that was one of the increases, and I'll say that this year we actually had to move money in my office just to get folders, the extra folders to contend with the debt claim cases. The other uptick is the Damon Allen Act, which is several years old now, but our legislature enacted an unfunded mandate. I'm sure you're familiar with those, the public safety reporting system. I think we've talked to y'all about that before. And basically what that is another way for the state government to keep up with all arrests Class B or above. So anything from a Class B misdemeanor through any of the felonies, basically if they're arrested and we magistrate them, then it has to be reported to the public safety response reporting system. And that creates a backlog with our clerks because we're running 2 clerks per office. Normally it's 1 civil clerk and 1 criminal clerk, but on the days that we magistrate, we're basically having to take clerks off what they normally do. They're both having to work on the PSRS because a lot of times we have so many people and we have to get them reported to the state. And I think, is it 24 hours? I think it's 24 hours.
So is there any software or system that would help them at all with that?
They
That sounds
created
like a
their own,
massive
they
job.
created their own reporting system, and it's, they've got some of the kinks worked out of it, but I don't know at this time. I think the more they tinker with it, maybe the harder it is for us, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah,
a
that sounds
snowball
like a
rolling
nightmare.
downhill, basically.
Yeah, it sounds like a nightmare for y'all.
Well, the thing I would want you to know about that is, and I don't know if y'all know, and I'll be brief on this, but the 4 JP offices, we literally magistrate everybody that comes through the jail. Now, there are cases where they're taken before a district judge on out-of-state warrant or something like that. But we've tried to make ourselves available to the district judge, court at law judge, and the county judge for the simple reason of we're in the same facility with the jail. And if we were to take each individual to each judge, then you're talking about extra sheriff's department personnel having to walk those people across the street, which is obviously a safety issue. Okay. So we've taken it upon ourselves, and we catch most of those in our offices. The other thing I would move on to is the Sandra Bland Act, which you're probably familiar with it in the mental evaluations. Now, I'm not going to get into the mental evaluations that pertains to Judge Carhan, because I think at some point we'll all get together and we'll figure that out.
Absolutely.
I still have questions about it. But what we do on the mental evaluations right now is you figure approximately 50 to 60% of the arrestees on intake, if they answered one question wrong, we have to do a mental evaluation on them as JPs. Okay. So there again, if it's a county warrant, if it's an indictment, whatever, we normally do the mental evaluations on those arrestees, Class B, 3 felonies, for the simple reason of there's no reason to be transporting them back and forth across the street to the proper courts when we can do them in one facility. Mm-hmm. And there's been big uptake on that with the Sandra Bland Act because they have kind of changed a lot of the criteria for, you know, and so we have to do them. We have to do it within 48 hours. That means our own call judge that works the weekend normally will pick those up so the other judges don't have to come in on the weekend. I would, Mr. Adams, do you have, and I don't know, I've got a printout of what Intech printed us off on what we've actually taken in money wise this year.
Oh, I haven't got that, sir.
You want to pass it? Did you ever pass that out to him also, Greta?
Got the fees.
So if you will look at that, as of July the 31st of this year, we're showing an intake in money wise of $593,179.22. That's for 10 months. And then, last year for the full 12 calendar year for 12 months, October 24 through September the 30th, we had an intake of $515,747.95. And if my math, Mr. Adams can correct me, but if my math is right, we're already over with 2 months left by $77,431.
Are people actually paying these fees, these fines?
So here,
Well,
if you're talking about traffic fines, the problem with the traffic fines is our legislature has made it so they can file indigent. And once they file indigent, depending on they file, it's hard to collect that fine if they claim indigency. Now, there are cases depending where we actually will set them up with a constable to pick up trash or something sometimes, but most of them are claiming medical issues and you can't make them, you know. So no, not all of them are paying. Not all the traffic tickets are get paid.
that's the numbers, but this one shows what that's from.
Right,
This is actual.
yes.
Okay, that was my question.
Yeah, I thought it was. This is actually what came in. The 7,740. The number of cases is just how many have been filed. It's not necessarily
Who's paid?
one's paid and one's not.
Yeah, out in the real world, I call it 30, 60, 90 maybe.
Yeah.
And after 90 days and maybe you ain't getting it.
Right. And I'm gonna move on to the pay step we're asking for. Mr. Adams already has it on the board. It's pretty self-explanatory. I would tell you the reason we're asking for the clerks is because we're getting hammered right now, guys. We're getting hammered with the civil cases. And, I will say this though, and I'm not beating my chest, but to our clerk's credit, we don't have any cases, backlogged. We're taking care of our business as far as what we're getting filed. Couple of things to address on there, the travel allowance. I don't know that we've had a travel allowance adjustment. I think we've had one in 12 years that I've been here. Start 13 in January. We're asking for a travel allowance, bump, and then the cellular allowance. I think that comes out to what we're currently getting is $85 a month for our cell phones. And we're requesting that to be bumped up to $1,800 a year, which is about $150 a month. Reason being is that's about what we're paying, $140 to $150 a month for a cell phone. So we're requesting that. Remember that these cell phones that we're getting now, they last, if you're lucky, 3 years, maybe 4 years, and then we're buying our own cell phones, so that's not an issue there. But we're asking for that bump, and then the Intech incentive bump. So that would be Cindy Bailey, Henderson Bailey. We're asking for that bump for her because right now she is handling most of the Intech computer stuff for all 4 offices. So we got one person, if they have an Intech issue with the computers or whatever, or collections. And the thing I would tell you about her is, remember, every year when the laws change, we have to re-enter the traffic citations that change, the money that changes, or how the law changes. Cindy is the one that goes in there and works with Intech and getting all that stuff changed, so it's on the computer, pops up on
I'll say
there.
something.
Go ahead.
I at one time was doing that job And that's probably not even enough money for a job.
I understand.
Incentives. It's gotten a lot more complicated and a lot more changes. Every time the law changes, they go in and we respond back and forth with Intech about the changes. Do we approve this? Because they ask our approval about form changes and fee changes and all. It is a big job. And then still do your clerk job.
So this is something that y'all have had as kind of a stipend to address additional job responsibility.
And I guess if there's any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Just so you just, let's know, I've got each of your budgets kind of laid out here. They're not much difference, but most of them you've already explained, which is driven from the salary. I don't think there's any company, like a small change in office supplies, like you said, but nothing crazy. The one question that I know our office had is the blinds in the courtroom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That I want to make sure we get taken care of in this budgets. And there's a capital,
Capital improvements.
so that's what's spread across capital improvement across each of yours. I think there's like 2,500 in each of them. So
I don't think it's gonna go that much, but
Yes, sir.
we wanted to put in just a little bit extra. And basically what it is, we're asking for blinds for the courtroom. Because we have had the courtroom redone, the way the glass in the courtroom, it shines right back in the face of the judges and whoever's testifying up there, and you literally can't see some days if it's really bright outside. So we wanted the blinds as an option in the courtroom.
that's what, yeah, I just want to make sure we have
And
enough.
there's enough there to pay for bonding in case something comes up that we need to use capital improvement.
Yes, ma'am.
Is window tint an option?
No,
No,
because
that's
it's the square.
It's glass.
glass.
Okay,
I don't
Glass
think-
brick.
It's the glass brick. Okay.
Yeah.
It was that in your era glass.
Hey, you ain't that far.
Yeah, there's a stadium in Arlington that has that issue as well.
Right. Yeah. Well, if y'all don't have any other questions, I appreciate you listening to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Well, we haven't even got our number yet, so
No questions?
If you have a question, let us know.
like I said, we haven't got our number yet from the appraisal district, so we're digesting all we can.
There's a lot to digest overall, the things that y'all have to do.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got JJ broke in yet?
Getting there.
Yeah.
Trying.
What do you think about Jay?
I like it.
They're pothole
Yeah,
patching.
we're-
They're pothole patching today. Thank you very
Him, Amanda, us four and you get together at some point.
Yes.
We'll get that worked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just have questions about it because I don't know
Yeah.
some things, so.
Look forward to it.
Thank you, Daryl.
Appreciate y'all.
See you there.
District judges and county judge are on the left. We got 8 minutes.
Are they in court
Or
or?
they're supposed to, they know they're going, I guess Kim had them scheduled for 11. I got Jane in here, but I think hers is going to be longer than 8 minutes. No, just because it's a transition of a year. So we can maybe take a 5-minute break or.
All right, we'll recess for 5 minutes.
That hair has been used more than 8 years.
Just seems like it's supposed to.
Yeah, I've noticed that this year have done a whole lot.
But they're not asking for ridiculous. They're asking for real. And I started to say, everybody who's making the money, they think they're worth it.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
And so I always said I want to make twice as much money, work 2 days a week. They said you should have been a preacher.
So I'm waiting on the bid or something.
You looking for somebody to fill up the truck? Yes, I'm better. Go to little places. What hard on? You know what?
Okay. I probably know if that's on.
I'm gonna send you.
Hey, does this include, this is trade? That's, oh, everybody. Not just, that's not just mine, that's mine. and theirs.
Right, yes, sir.
Volunteer.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that would be close.
And on these papers right here, like for instance, on. Right here. This figure, that includes their salary, their
Just-
insurance,
No,
everything.
that, I have that, it's all in the bottom. It's in this employee benefits.
So this is her salary
Yes, sir.
right now.
Yeah. It's 56. Tried to show.
What do you mean?
Two, there was budgeted. for
That's
two people.
everybody.
There were two people in there for
Gotcha.
112.
I got you.
56.
Meeting's gonna continue tomorrow, but do we have any on Friday?
No, sir. I think we're gonna have to probably go till finalize everything on Wednesday of next week. I'm trying to push through, but I'm just seeing where we go today, because
I'm good. I was just gonna, I'm supposed to have a meeting with the wind farm people.
no, I think
To look
tomorrow,
at
we don't have
some
anything on the
roads
agenda.
on
We would have had to put it on public notice, so I think we're gonna get through it and then probably Wednesday of next week finalize
That's
it.
good. That's good. I just wanna make sure I can make that meeting with them
Yeah,
on
I think
Friday.
I know who that is.
Don't got your salaries and stuff.
I don't. I'm working on it.
Okay, just Stephanie's your person
Yeah. I know, she reminds me.
for salaries.
Yes, sir. They done all right to me.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am sure. I'm pretty sure I tell you if I didn't think so.
That made a change in my life.
I'm not like her. I'm just gonna go ahead and take it.
Mr. Mike, that made a change if I was actually doing good.
We just see if y'all meddling or not when you get to me. That's a big.
Where are you on here? I don't even see you on the list.
I'm Mr. No Name. I'm probably not on the list. I'm on everybody else's list.
Well, he controls it all to start with. Every dollar goes through him.
That's I'm feeling yesterday. I told y'all, give me what I had in that thing. Older, I would come back. You can see. I just checked that box. Let you go. I'll get out.
Boy, that would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's not like a free. I'm sure that. We just have to-
Okay, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, just right.
Yeah, we're trying to get the,
Be
there.
What that happened.
Stand it up.
Sir.
I just have presentation. Okay. Start off with obviously your biggest thing.
Any more?
Just put it back on. So, in your pocket, I can see it. Okay. Check it out.